Moro num país tropical, abençoado por Deus.
So we can start. Good morning to you, Ricardo.
Good morning, Katrina.
It's a pleasure to be here. First of all, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself. Tell me something about the place you were born, where do you come from,
Yeah.
etc.
Well, I'm from Belo Horizonte. It's the third city of Brazil and in South America, of course, to put in the right position. And I was born in 1958, means that I have now 65 years old. Mm-hmm. It's a nice city surrounded by mountains. I love to be there. I studied there for the schools, public schools. The majority of that I studied are public school. All the schools that I studied. Only when I arrived to the university, and then I started to study in a private university. But then I was handball trainer, goalkeeper also, and then I start to give practice lessons to the students, and then I have a kind of internship because supported my studies by myself, not my father's helping on this, my parents.
But you worked hard, so you deserve
Yeah. My father is not a rich man. They are starting, they are joining, my mother also, they have no education, for example. Mm-hmm. My mother do not know how to write the things. That's so important to say this. Of course, later she did a kind of another course when she was so old, just to at least to survive. My father has only the basic school, but he worked a lot as a pharmaceutical guy. That he's a practical one, not with studies, and he studied. He worked a lot, and one time he has 3 drugstores in Belo Horizonte at the end, and it's good because he progressed a lot, and he shows me the way. Sorry for my bad English. It's just because we are surrounded by Spanish countries, and then it's easier for us to speak Spanish than English. But of course, I could do.
Yeah, of course. The example of your father proves that when you focus on something, you can definitely reach the target. Yeah. It just takes time, and you need to stay focused.
To stay focused, to not give up. This is a lesson that he taught me. Something about persistent, to be persistent, to insist, and to go until the end, and to plan. Wake up each morning and say, we have a goal, we need to pursue this goal, and so on. That's it. That's the thing that I love.
Probably you remember some story from your childhood which was very special to you?
Yeah, the good thing is that the affection of parents and siblings, because I was the youngest child, it's very important. And of course, I study in public schools, very good public schools that are very important, because in this occasion, Brazil, we have a very good, in my city, you have nice public schools, and with a lot of sports, of course. And then I started to practice sports. I love to. We have no computers at this time, and then we invent in the streets a lot of ways to play football, to play with skate, and to play with bike, and so on. And then because we have no computers and no games, that's good, because we are living there. We are living in the streets with my friends, with a lot of friends in the same building, that we have one for each level of and then we go down and play, and so on. I lived nearby a kind of public park, but one interesting story is that in the street that we lived, we have a river that crosses in front of us, more or less 100 meters. We have a river, and then one time the ball. We are playing football in the street, the ball go inside the river, and then we are following until we reach a point that we could go down and remove the ball, because to buy a ball this occasion is not easy for us. We need this ball. 2 teams of 7 people each running and then we find a way to recover the ball.
You travel a lot and you live for a long time abroad, but what is that special thing you can still remember all of the time about Brazil? Probably something which you miss the most.
One important thing is that in Brazil we received a lot. We are very used to receive a lot of immigrants since the beginning. This, I think, this makes a lot of difference in the growth of our society because these guys that are coming there, they need to be there. Germany, Italian, because they are in the war, the Lebanese because of the persecution of the Arab people, and we have a lot of Germans and have a lot of Portuguese also, and they are not living in ghettos. This is so important. They are living integrated in the society. We have friends from around the world, any nationality. I think this is a common way in Brazil, and my mother is one of the persons that taught me a lot on this, to be polite, to say goodbye, to say hello, to say good morning to everyone, to respect everything. This is a thing that it's a very important. Say we have 5 magical words: good morning, thanks, please, and good afternoon and good night. Please do not forget to say this to anyone, not only the people that are above you, the people that are cleaning the floor and so on. And that's I had a story that I already discussed with you when I was in the Brazilian Olympic Committee, the big toilet, and then I come there every day and say hello to the guy. Hello, Mr. Moacir, are you okay? And he said, yeah, hello, I'm okay. And then one time he stopped me and said, Baca is my nickname. They said, hey, can I say one thing to you? Of course, please. You are the only one here that thinks that I'm not invisible. This for me is so important because people needs to be recognized. People needs to be, and then this is some things that sometimes I miss because Brazil is very good on this. Brazil is very, very interesting. Of course, we have a lot of disequality. We have poor people, we have rich people. Of course, this causes some social problems there. Yeah? But I think we are growing. As I said to you, I explained it, sometimes my country is a country that used to export raw materials, but we need to export industrialized products, and now we are changing this. Also, we have a strong agropecuary area that is growing a lot in Brazil. And I think we, as a country that has 260 million people living there in a huge, it's a kind of continent, we could grow. To be honest with you, we could be one of the biggest countries in the world. We have land, we have the Amazon, we have land to plant, we have land to take care of the everything there and to build industries and so on. And I think we are in a good shape. We are growing. In the last 20 years, we are growing a lot. Of course, to receive there the Pan American Games and later the World Cup in 2014 and then the Rio Olympic Games in 2016 was so good for us because sometimes the people think that Brazil is only Rio and São Paulo. And this is an opportunity for the World Cup, for example, to show that we have more than this. We have Salvador in the Northwest, we have Fortaleza, we have Manaus in Amazon, we have Porto Alegre in Rio Grande do Sul state, and we have nice place to visit and to be very well received. That's it.
I hope that situation of Brazil will improve and politicians will become more kind.
The democracy is not easy. Democracy, we have states, we have the governors, we have the cities with mayors, we have the federal government, and we have a system, we have the Congress. And to administrate this and to listen everyone as a democracy, it's not easy.
Let's talk about you moving to Qatar. When did it happen and why you are here?
Yeah, I used to be the CEO of the Brazilian World Cup in Brazil in 2014. Since 2010, I stayed 5 years working for the World Cup in Brazil with FIFA, and I was very pleased with this. I worked in the Pan American Games before, and in the bid for 2016, I was the director, and then FIFA invited me to be the CEO of the organizing committee in Brazil. We had a team with 348 people working for me, very lovely people from around the world also. We received a lot of expatriates to help us to deliver. and it was a good momentum to us there. 12 new airports, 12 new stadiums. We grew it a lot, mainly in sports. But when I left there, I used to be the CEO of the Brazilian Volleyball Federation, then to the Brazilian Basketball Federation. And after this, I was working for Conmebol to deliver Copa America 2021. When we have COVID, no public in the stadiums, we received the mission to deliver this competition in 1 month because Peru gave up, and then we accepted to do. It's a very important competition with 10 teams and so on. Argentina won at the final. And then during the Copa America, FIFA gave an interview with me and invited me. FIFA and Nasser, the CEO of here, and Colin from FIFA, they sent someone from FIFA indicated my name again, and I was very excited because I'm staying in a event and then another event and then another event, but I'm not fixing in. I want to be more comfortable, to stay more comfortable. And then when they did an interview with me, I'm very, very nervous because I said, hey, I don't want to commit any mistakes and how I say the things and so on. But it was a nice conversation the first time. I love the people. They treated me so well. They make me comfortable during the interview. And again, I'm ready to move now. As soon as I move to there, I will not be the kind of guy that say, hey, I need to return to my country because I'm missing my country. No, I will stay there to deliver. It's a mission. I'm a guy that accomplishes missions. I arrived here very quickly in July 2021. I stayed 2 days here only talking with Nasser, and then I come to Zurich to talk with Colin and Raimo, the directors of FIFA, to know about both parts of this. And then, right after the discussion, I returned to Qatar. First thing is to say to my guys, hey, we are now Qataris. We are not more Brazilians, English people. And then I think they accepted me well. Of course, my grandfather is from Lebanon, and then we have this relationship with the Arab people, of course. And then it's nice for me to understand the food, the culture sometimes, and we adapt. My wife comes with me, and my daughters sometimes are here. My son comes with me to work also in Qatar accommodation agents. He worked for them. He decided to do this, and he's living with me the majority of the time. And this is so good to make not me isolated here.
It's good to have your family member next to you.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, I don't feel alone. Of course, I will keep my home in Brazil. We have dogs, we have cats, we have a big house. During the Christmas time, I went there to visit my home. And that's it. I'm happy because this experience here was great. To be honest with you, more than Brazil, they are the best World Cup ever. It's my opinion. And I was the responsible there. I'm not the responsible here. Here I was one of the responsible. There I was the guy in the head of this, but of course we have a lot of people to support me. But here we deliver, and I live it in a nice environment. It's a good life, good location. I'm in Viva Bariá in front of the beach and taking care of some cats and riding a bike with a lot of friends, playing paddle. I could have life here, but also dedicated to this project.
What do you think was the main reason that this World Cup was the best World Cup?
Well, never one World Cup have a lot of time as they dedicated to plan. Qatar has 12 years to plan. They decided to do this. In general, in Brazil, for example, we started in 2009 to deliver the World Cup in 2014. Here they decided in 2010, and then they have 12 years to plan. I think this is the most essential thing, okay? Yeah. Of course, they hired a lot of consultants from around the world that a lot of knowledge. They have political will to build the best stadiums of the world, because they are the most outstanding stadiums around the world are here. Definitely. Beautiful, and also they are good to work. They are operational And this improve a lot the country with the metro that do not exist here. I think Qatar also has a legacy that the labels welfare changed a lot because of the World Cup. World Cup is a catalyzer of this. This is my opinion, personal opinion. Yeah. And this is so good for them. But I think the most important thing is that it's a different environment. It's a one city, different of all World Cups. The players do not need to travel a lot. As in Brazil, as in Russia, they need to travel 4 hours to Manaus to play. Here they stay short distance. They are here, and then they rest well. They will be so. They are in there. They don't need to change the hotel, to change the food. They have the same environment. This is good for the players, and also the occasion of the World Cup was so good because July, always the World Cup is in July, and must be because of the interval between the seasons. But here, because of the heat, they did this in November, December, that it's the time that the players are in the best shape, physical shape, and then they played a lot. The matches here are so impressive also. I'm talking about operation, a small environment. I'm talking about rest, I'm talking about the quality of the players. They did so well here. And of course, Qatar, this is a thing that I love, this is expression that they use it. Let's deliver amazing. They think it to deliver amazing, and they deliver amazing.
Yeah. From my side, I can say that the quality of service which was provided just was amazing. I enjoyed it so much. I have seen happy fans around, and it was just an incredible experience.
And one example, I went the first 3 days. I went to 4 stadiums per day. I'm not staying there until the end of the match.
It's easy to travel.
It's easy to travel. As a spectator, maybe you could at least 2 matches, the first and the last, you could see. 4 matches a day you could see.
The next question from my side is, what do you think is the strongest feature you have got in your character?
To be honest, is to study. This is one important thing, to study, to think that you don't know everything, to listen more than talk. This is important. To make the people that work with you part of the delivery that we are doing, to make them comfortable, to ask them about their personal lives if they have a problem or so on. One example, I don't need to have here a person that his daughter is at home with fever. Hey, go home. You're not here. It will be worse for us and for you. The most important to me is to be perseverant. We will have, and do not panic in. This is important. We will have a lot of issues. We had a lot of issues to decide between FIFA, the host country, and the teams, for example, the PMAs, or the fans, or the television broadcasters. We need to not to panic, and we need to control our emotions and sit together and listen. What's the best decision? Let's work together on this and so on. This is the way that I do the things. Of course, one important thing for me, and it's to have a team's feeling. It's important that I said to the guys, you need to know that my door is open, always open. You don't need to ask my assistant to have a conversation with me. Come and sit here and let's have a chat. It's sometimes better than send only an email in the next door. Go there. Do not send an email. Go there and say, let's do this. I'm not losing a position to do this, to open the door and so on. No, I don't care about this. What I need is to be happy, to make the people happy, and to deliver a World Cup. To be happy is not means that I will not be tough if I need to be tough with a person, to say, hey, you need to do this, you are not doing, let's go, and so on. To push sometimes, or to chase a person, this is important. You need to know this. As a former volleyball coach and handball coach, I know how to proceed, how to instigate people, to motivate people, and to treat people well and to treat people being part of the project. They need to be this. I hate routine, as I said to you. And I hate the day that I went to a training session, for example, and the guy said to me in Romania when I have 16 years old, run to the right side. Every day is the same. He will not explain to me what's the goal for this, what I'm going in the same way, always and so on. Sports teaches you a lot to identify the person, to identify who are subject to panic, subject to stress, who are the guys that have solidarity, or not to put the fault in others, to say, the mistake are ours, the success is yours. This is the way to do.
What's the biggest lesson your life gave to you?
Biggest lesson is gratitude. I think we need to have gratitude in every part of this. And also that I'm nothing. Why I say this, I already said this, is I have the opportunity, that's why I'm here. Someone, when I was playing handball in the school, the coach of the best team of the city saw me playing and he said, this boy is good, you are courageous. And I received 53 goals as a goalkeeper. Wow. He said to me, hey, I need you to play with us. I said, hey, I have 11 years old, my father will not allow me to do this. No, I will talk with your father. And then he comes to my home with his son in the same age of me, my best friend until today. And they come there and he explained, I need your boy. Your boy will be successful in sports. And then I was successful. I played in the national team during 7 years. And I know I visited the entire world with handball. Then I worked in volleyball and so on because of this guy. He's my second father. But again, if someone do not discover me, I will not have the opportunity. A lot of people that are in the streets or in the schools has no opportunity.
But they are probably very smart.
Very smart and good guys. And then I could not say that I'm better than the other. No, it's only that I have the opportunity. I had the opportunity. Of course, I have my power on this to accept this and to insist and to work on this. But it's not because I'm better than the others, because I'm just better. It's not this.
Following your answer, I would like to ask you, what advice would you give to young generation at the moment who are probably suffering in their life, not knowing what to do, those who didn't get an opportunity? A lot of people nowadays are depressed, they feel useless, but life just starts, so they have to move forward.
I think everything starts in the school. Of course, at home with education, a good education from the parents, but also in big schools, in good schools. To live in good environments, these are essential also. But to these guys, I say, sometimes is to feel that you need to work as a volunteer in sometimes to help people. To help animals. We have a lot of opportunities to do this, not to be depressed, because a lot of people needs more than us. Always we'll have this. And sometimes we are seated, and it happened with me one time, and I said, hey, I'm a poor guy. Oh, everyone hates me. Oh, everyone is not hates, but everyone, I have no money to do this and this. Hey, it's the way. You have a lot of different ways. Fight. I'm not a religious guy a lot, but I believe in God, and my mother touched me this. I prayed, for example, please God, do not exist more poor people in the world. I prayed everything I said, every day I said this. We don't need to depend on religion to say, you'll not do this only because of the religion. No, you need to be active. You need to do the things. If you want to help people, you need to help people. Help people in the streets. Help people that are helping you at home. Give money to them. You'll not be bad for you. Help people, help a shelter, as we did last week, donating food for the shelter here for dogs with Mauro from QSS. We donate some food to the cats and the dogs there. We walk with the dogs in the shelter. These are, I think this kind of activities also will show you that we have possibilities and we have people that needs also. And then you'll not be, because sometimes we are like this, it's only with me, I will not fight more because it's the way. No, insist. Again, as I said to my students in Brazil, because sometimes I teach and I gave some lectures to the CS University and the people from management and sports, I said, the first thing that I could say to you is to invest in education, to invest in to have the best skills on this, to study every day, daily, to listen podcasts or to read books. Read books are essential, and these are some things that I think we need to insist. But one thing in Brazil mainly, and this is so important for us, maybe in the other countries we don't have this, but is to study English, because English is so important today. Without English we will be nothing.
Same for us back home.
Yeah, and then we need to do this. And said, if you have a child, as my mother did with me, she sent me every day, I want to see Tarzan in the movie, in the television. Go to school. You need to learn English. You need to learn. I'm paying this. You need to go. She insisted. And today, this makes difference with Spanish. I speak Spanish. I speak a little French. I speak Portuguese. When the people will hire you, it will make difference. Nobody asked me to be in the Brazilian Olympic Committee to work for the Pan American Games. Nobody asked me my diplomas, my certificates of my university, because I have three. I have three. They never asked me this, but they interviewed me in English, in Spanish. They changed it during the interview. They changed it to Spanish, and that's why I was hired. Because if I don't have English or Spanish, I will not be hired, even if I have the best diplomas. And sometimes we need to insist on this. It's a kind of medicine that you need to take every day in the morning. I'm studying now with Duolingo French. I do at least 3 lessons per day, 268 days that I'm doing this. Discipline. This is one thing that the people must have. Discipline to do physical activities, discipline to eat well, discipline to work so hard, to work every morning and to work. Sometimes it's normal for any person to say, today I want to stay at home, I'm very tired and so on. I never did this. I never refused it. Of course, now we finish this project here and then we could do this, but when you are doing the preparing this, never, ever. Even if you are not tired, but mentally tired, I need a rest. Take some days and maybe you could travel and so on, but in general, insist and have discipline. Discipline to start the day, and the army guys are very good on this. The discipline is to start the day organizing your bed. This is essential. I'm not doing this in the hotel now because I have people to do.
I would like to add regarding languages, since I studied languages myself.
Yeah, it's impressive. You talk, you speak Chinese. This is so difficult language.
And personally, throughout my life, I find very important to know new language. Not because you just go in to speak a new language, but through knowing the language, you will know so much about the culture.
Yeah, of course.
You will find a way to understand how people live in this specific country, and it's just amazing. Plus, very important to have discipline, to learn new words every day, practice, etc. And of course, it will open more doors for you in the future. One more thing, do you think that unhealthy environment in family from childhood might affect kids when they grow, might affect them to lose the focus?
Family is essential, it's my opinion. I have 3 kids and I treated them so well. We treated them, me and the mother of them, my wife. We do so well with them. We gave them the opportunity, but we are leading them. We are being tough sometimes with them, teaching them, but also being kind and to have animals around the family. I think it's my personal opinion also. It's a nice thing to have animals living with you. Animals are so A dog, for example, he always expected you at home, smiling, let's see, like this, and it's important. But the family is everything. You know that, and you could see this all around the world, in Brazil also, that the majority of people that has problems in the future is because they have problems with their families, and they have abuse, or they have a lack of attention. And this week I published a post regarding, I saw in the Harvard Business here, sometimes you are out of the job, but you are paying attention in emails, in WhatsApp, and so on, and not pay attention on your kids, and this will means a lot for them. This is one thing that you need to think about, because sometimes you are so concentrated in your job that you are at home and your kid is asking you a question and you say, okay, yeah, do not respond adequately, and it means difference. I'm talking about lack of attention, I'm talking about lack of affection, I'm talking about, of course, discipline, to give them discipline, to educate them, to respect the teachers, to respect the older guys, the elder guys. They need to do this, and sometimes they are not respecting. One time, when he was young, this is this old guy that are saying this. Hey, one day you'll be there. Yeah. You'll be the older guy also. Respect. And then this one thing that we need to teach from home. That's why the families are so important for the kids. The kids of the future will depend on the kids at home, for sure, for sure. Of course, the school needs to continue this, because they will stay 4 hours at least, or 6 hours in some schools, there with the teachers. But at home, we need to teach them a lot. We need to teach them that respect and great gratitude, and these are essential things. And to take care of them. Sometimes my daughter, I lived in a lot of places there in São Paulo. São Paulo is a huge city, 20 years there. And one time we decided to live more a part of the city in a nice house with a swimming pool and so on. But of course it's 1 hour to the downtown, 1 hour and something like this, sometimes like this. And then my daughter she has 17 years old, and she wants to go in parties. I went with her, deliver her in the party, and stayed in the car sleeping in the gas station waiting for her. This is my mission. And she, of course she feels so well treated, so well cared. This makes the difference in the future for the kids.
Yeah, they are so lucky to have father like you.
And it's not, well, I'm sleeping so well and no problem at all.
Enjoying the time.
Yeah.
I have known you for a bit, and from my side I would like to say that I'm very grateful to know you. How good it is that such a kind, honest and humble person has strong position, very high post, when we see that the world is so corrupted, and sometimes we feel, when we watch news, we feel like we're going to hell. Having all these features, what does make you happy in the end?
In the end, is to have a job. This makes me so happy, because I say to my brothers that sometimes I think we helped to kill my father. Let's see, the word is so heavy, use it like this, but it's something that he loved to work, and we said to him, no, you don't need to work more, you're big and old, you're tired. No, do not do this with me, because happiness for me means to have discipline, to work every day, and to listen music, to learn every day a little language or skills or another things, and to see, to listen music, and to help people in the streets, to smile to the people, to say hello to everyone. That time found the guys in the reception of my building, or the guys say hello, how are you? Here I asked a lot of people where they are come from, because it's good. The people love to say, and they say, I'm from Brazil, and they love Neymar, oh, Pelé, and say, but it's very interesting. But again, is to work. To be honest with you, is to have a family, a good family, to have my dogs, to treat my dogs, to work well, to have time and discipline to do physical activities every day, and bike is one of the most preferential ones. Paddle also, I discovered this game here in Qatar, and I'm loving to play with a lot of friends. That's it. This is my happiness.
I totally agree with you on it. Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to be here in Albida Tower. We have an amazing view.
Yeah, I love this view here since the beginning.
Yeah, the water is so blue and it's just beautiful. The last question is a bit complicated, but it's very important for me to know your opinion. What do you think is the purpose of our existence in the world? And is there a way to change this world to a better one in a bigger scale?
I think so. I totally agree that it's possible. I was never pessimist. Sometimes we have some politicians that are not so good, and so you know this, and we discussed this, and this happened. But I'm always positive. I think each movement that we could do, it's important. Small movements, and I think we could change the world. We need to make a difference, and we need to, first of all, teach the people to have a holistic mind, to think about everything and not to be radical. The radicalism means nothing. These sometimes, are the problems of the people, to be radical in anything. I will not do this, I will not do this, I do not respect this guy because it's like this. And I think we could move the world to a best position. And in my case, I think it's one of my missions, to make the world better, to make the people better. It's my mission. I love this. And then I will do this, starting at the family, but also with people in general. We need to change, to keep one smile in your face, to say hello and to say good morning and to smile to a person. Maybe it could make a difference, and maybe could help. We could say it's a little ant that will grow, and to be ocean at the end. I believe.
From the very young age, I always wanted to change the world. My mom thinks that I'm just dreaming, but I strongly believe it's possible, and day by day we move one step forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katrina. It's a pleasure to talk with you and to see that you are a nice person, amazing person also, that takes care of others and the world to be better. This is our mission. Let's do it together, all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From my side, I also wish you very strong health. You'll live in Qatar soon, but you have to keep yourself in a good shape. Enjoy your life.
Thank you very much.
I wish you more sports events to come.
I will do. I will work.
People will be lucky that they get your support.
Thank you.
Tem carnaval. Tem carnaval. Eu tenho um fusca e um violão. Sou Flamengo, tenho uma nega chamada Teresa.